Traders are turning a couple $100 into tens of thousands of dollars, and it's all happening on the brand new version of Virtual's protocol. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what the Genesis launcher is, how it works, and how you can earn points and hopefully hit a 50x return for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla video. As usual, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only, so you still gotta go out and do your own research before buying or selling anything. And if you appreciate this kind of content, would you kindly hit that subscribe button and let's jump right into it. So if you recall, the previous iteration of Virtual's protocol was a token launcher similar to Pump.Fun. The only addition was that there was AI agent tools attached to it. So it made it easier for a team to launch their own Twitter bot essentially. And the AI agent meta took off. The virtual token did incredibly well, running from 50 cents all the way to $5, as did a ton of tokens on the platform like AIXBT, Vader. However, they had some pretty nasty dips as markets cooled off and the AI agent meta fizzled out. And with these kind of losses, people stopped paying attention. There was less money being made, therefore less users and less fees being collected by the platform, as you can see in the months of March and April. However, in the month of May, you'll notice there is a resurgence happening. And if we go to the tokens, you could see that Vader has gone from 6 million all the way to recently 52 million in the last 2 weeks. And the virtual token is up from 52 cents all the way to $2, up nearly 300% in the last month alone. So something is clearly happening here. And in specific to these tokens, the reason they're going up is because a brand new utility was added, which is the ability to make money, which whether it's a token or an NFT, this is the greatest utility your project can ever have. And this new utility has to do with the brand new version of Virtual Protocol, which is called the Genesis Launches, which if you go to the website, which I will link in the description down below, that is the main page that you're landing on. So you can still get to all of your favorite agents like Vader and AIXBT. However, the main spot, the new casino that everybody is playing, is the Genesis Launches page. So let's run through it before I teach you how to trade these tokens. If you look here, we currently see all of the tokens. However, we could filter it down by live, which is the tokens that are currently raising for their pre-sale. This is a pre-sale page. We have the upcoming tokens, so these aren't live yet. However, it allows you to do some research, and the ones that have ended, so either they're live, they succeeded, or they completely failed and everybody got a refund. Now going to a token, which I am completely choosing at random, so please don't buy it just because you saw it in this video. We have a ton of information on screen, but we're just gonna go ahead and scroll down. This is where you're gonna be doing your research on a token. You have information, if they've provided it, on the team. We also have project details, so you could read through their plans or whatever, as well as tokenomics, so what they plan on doing with the token, how much the team is getting, and so on. Now, let's say you're comfortable with the details that they put, or it's really hype, whatever you want to YOLO. On the top right is where you're going to be allocating to this pre-sale. However, you're going to need two things. The first thing are going to be pledge points, which are called virgins, which we're going to discuss in just a bit how you can earn those. And the other thing is the virtual token. You can pledge a maximum of 566 tokens per project. And if you're wondering how to buy the virtual token, I do have a tutorial, which I will link above and in the description of this video. However, it's probably a bit outdated now, as if we look on CoinMarketCap, you could see they've added a ton of exchanges. They've added Uniswap support. So it's really easy to swap to this token from ETH or USDC or whatever. Now, I personally really like the point system with the pre-sale system. It's like they took Kaito, which is a points-based system, and platforms like DAOs.fun, which is a pre-sale platform, which just shows you based on your clout on Twitter or whatever you want to raffle, and they're merging the best of both worlds. So this platform is really cool, and I'm seeing a ton of people cook on it, and hopefully it continues to cook and we're not late to this meta. Now, if I wanted to buy this token, let's say I did some research and I'm happy with it, I would put an amount of points that I'm willing to pledge, as well as some tokens. And if you see here, it's going to suggest an amount of virtual tokens that I should commit based on my pledge. So if I change this to 100, I don't have enough, so let's change it to 20. It's still suggesting 1. So no matter what, it is suggesting 1. And that's because for this particular token, it's already almost 1500% over allocated. You'll notice that I'm competing against a bunch of people who, some people have pledged 2.5 million points, right? I'm out here pledging 20 points, and it's a competition between me and all these people, which for this one, I pledged 10 points. So I'm in almost 4,000th place. Now, the way this platform works is it's allocation based. So I'm not going to get my one virtual. I'm going to get an allocation based on my pledge points. So if something is crazy over allocated and super hyped, it might be worth saving your points for something else. There's still a reason people are allocating to these, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. However, if I do pledge points, some of those are going to be burnt and the rest are going to be returned to me. Same thing for my virtual tokens. If I pledge the maximum of 566, but I only put 20 points, I'm not going to get my allocation, right? Whatever's left is going to be refunded. And should the pre-sale fail to sell out, I'm just going to get everything refunded, both my points and my virtual tokens. Now, the goal of every project is to raise 112,000 virtual tokens, which at current prices is roughly $230,000, which is also the FDV, or the fully diluted value of that token, which is why the ones that do well on this platform, they cook, because if this just goes to 1 mil FDV, that is already a 4x return. So you can see the potential if one of these actually fully takes off. Now, like I said, you need points in order to get an allocation for one of these tokens, which if we look at the top, you could see I have 109 points. And if we click on it, it's going to give us all of the info we need on earning points, as well as the daily breakdown. So at the top here, we can click through every single day, or like the different methods of earning points, and it's going to give us a breakdown. So for example, on May 9th, we have the breakdown of how many points were allocated to each section. So let's go through each one of these one by one. The first method that points are handed out is Trenchor Points, which if we scroll down, we get a bit more details. You get these points by joining launches, by buying AI agents, by trading virtual agents. So really, they just want volume across their platform. And this applies to the old agents as well, the sentient agents, the prototype agents. So if you're just trading tokens on this platform, you are earning loyalty there, which translates into points, because they want to see volume across the platform. They obviously want to earn those fees, and they're also giving a portion of the fees. I believe 70% of their fees are going back to the token itself, which helps them with their runway. So it could be beneficial to just volume trade, but ideally you're picking coins that are going up and you're making profits at the same time, and definitely not taking losses doing this. After that, we have virtual points, which this is the easiest way to earn points. You literally just have to hold the virtual token. However, just yesterday, they announced staking for the virtual token. If you manage to get in within the first 24 hours, they say you're eligible for a massive surprise. So for the notification gang on YouTube or X, you have probably 2 hours left by the time I post this video to stake your virtual tokens. And if we go back to the virtual platform, you can see whenever you stake, you are earning V virtual, which gives you governance rights, but you are also earning the Virgen Points, so you can put them towards these allocations. And there's also going to be selected Genesis airdrops. So there's a ton of benefits here, and I personally plan on buying some virtual tokens and staking. It's up 4x in the last 30 days, so ideally it doesn't nuke, but I do see this continuing, so hopefully it does do well and it pays off for the staking. After that, there are points for Vader Stakers, and this isn't just holding, this you actually have to stake on the Vader website. And there's not just Vader. If we scroll down here, you can see there's other agents that you can stake, a few of them. You are going to have to stake them on the individual platform. However, the main one that gives the best returns is going to be Vader. They get 5% of the daily emissions, and this is because they helped a lot when it came to the development and the ideation or the concepts of this platform. So it's kind of like a thank you to that community. And then finally, we have the Diamond Hand bonus, which you can collect daily every 24 hours. And there's a few ways of doing this. One way is by getting into these new launches and not immediately dumping your tokens. If we scroll down to the bottom here, you could see in don'ts, they say, hey, don't sell your Genesis tokens or you are going to get a cooldown. So you're not going to be able to earn points if you sell those tokens, but you kind of have to measure like the pros and cons here. If you got into a token and it's up 1000x, it might be best for you to take profits and just deal with the cooldown. However, the cooldown will not apply to yapping, which from my understanding is the best way to earn the Virgin tokens. Now, originally you did have to fill out a form in order to get these points. However, just yesterday, they announced a collaboration with Kaito. So they are now using the Kaito leaderboard in order to track how much you tweet. So be sure to sign up to Kaito, which I will link in the description down below. However, you also need to head to your profile and then link your social. So you're going to need to link your X account if you want to earn these points on the Virtuals Protocol platform. Now, there is another way, from my understanding, to earn these diamond hand points, which if we go back to the Genesis launches, you'll notice some of them say tokens are locked for 28 days or 30 days, whatever it is. And some of them just say, do your own research. The do your own research is because the team has not committed to locking up tokens. However, this one, the team has committed to locking up tokens for 30 days. And once this one launches, if it's successful and it manages to sell out the 112,000 virtuals, if you purchase this token on the secondary market within the platform, you are going to get rewards in the form of the diamond hand bonus. So it's not just for participating in the sales, it's also for purchasing these tokens. Now, the last thing you should be aware of is that some of your points expire. I believe it's every 2 weeks. So if you want to maximize on their value, you are going to need to actually spend these points. What I'm doing is I'm just finding the ones that are guaranteed to mint out. So they're over allocated. Like this one, you saw I committed some points. I'm probably just going to put more points into it. However, I do want to save my points for future launches, but I'm just finding the ones that are over allocated, putting points in them, and I'm getting such a small amount. Like you see, I put in $2 into this token. I don't expect the $2 to turn into 1,000, you know? So I'm just going to hold it and collect my diamond hand points because I think this is the second best way of earning points after yapping about the token. So the main thing I'm going to be doing is yapping. However, this is through Kaito. I know it's very difficult. You need to have a good Twitter. You need to put out good posts. You need to have smart followers engage with your stuff. However, in my position, it's worth me doing. And I do think it's worth you building up a really strong Twitter. So perhaps I'll make a video about Kaito and building up your Twitter in the future. For this tutorial, that closes it up. I hope you found it educational, helpful. I really hope you hit a 50x on this platform. If you do, be sure to come back to the video and leave me a comment in the comment section down below. If you want tutorials on something else, also let me know and I'll try to get it out as fast as possible. If you appreciated this video, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit the subscribe button, smash that bell notification. Thank you for watching another Crypto Gorilla video. Peace.